shareholders in Co-op City. My demographics match those of many others. I work full-time. I'm a mom. I was a single mom for a long time. My kids were born here, raised here, and are now independent. They moved out. They're in their 30s. They live on their own. My mission is to contribute. My professional life has been in insurance, and I want to pursue initiatives as a board member that promote our health, including, financial fitness and physical fitness. I want to review our insurance contracts. I want to look at our budget. I want to get busy to do the work of Co-op City. I believe in, shareholders overall. I'm interested in working toward the greater good, not just my personal interests. I think I have a lot to contribute. So, I hope that I will be seriously considered. I know that, I may not be on 10,000 committees, like a lot of the other candidates, but I think that there are many shareholders who are like me who have a lot to offer if they're given an opportunity. So,
thank you, Monique
thank you.
Coleman.
Thank you
Monique
for the
Coleman.
opportunity.
Okay, number 2 is Sheila Richburg.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to participate in this forum today. I'm very grateful that my video is working today and that I can share with you my passion as I speak with you. My name is Sheila Richburg, and I humbly ask for your vote for the Riverbay Board of Directors. I am a very proud mother of 5, 3 which have graduated from college and 2 which are presently enrolled. I am a frontline worker, an RN, and a union member. I have been dedicated, involved, and very active in this community since 2012, when I relocated here to Co-op City. Co-op City, by the way, was my first choice and my only choice, as I knew I needed to move my family. I joined my building association within 2 weeks of my move-in because I quickly wanted to get involved in my new community. I am an experienced leader and currently the president of the Co-op City section of the National Council of Negro Women and on my executive board of my building. Bringing transferable skills and the understanding regarding the need to have board members such as myself with experience of advocacy, professionalism, and having history of balancing an annual budget. I vowed to advocate for a higher quality of maintenance service with efficiency and cost effectiveness. I am committed to advocating for establishing an urgent care center in each of these communities here in Co-op City. I vow to vote for and create resolutions that are in the best interest of all of our shareholders. I will not come to the board with my own personal agenda. Please vote for me and Team Progress. If elected, we will continue to move Co-op City forward, ensuring a balanced budget and keeping Co-op City affordable. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila Richburg. Next up, we have Alexian DeCray. Did he arrive? I don't think so. Okay, the number 4 person is Miss Leah Richardson.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Election committee, shareholders, and candidates. My name is Leah Richardson. I am respectfully asking for your vote for re-election to the Riverbay Board of Directors. I am an IT professional for over 30 years at the Kings County Supreme Court, leader and community activist. As a Riverbay Board Director, I have a fiduciary responsibility to our shareholders, overseeing a corporation, controlling an average of $250 million annual budget, affecting the lives of over 50,000 cooperatives. That is a great responsibility, and I am willing to take the job seriously with honesty, integrity, and transparency. In this year's budget, I voted no to the 2% carrying charge increases combined with increases to our garage, parking, hallway, basement storage fees, and the construction of a waterfront park. I believe we should revisit this proposal until after this pandemic is controlled. Funding for the waterfront can be diverted to promote other essential projects that may be priority at this time. Our shareholders' needs comes first. For example, a call center that respectfully answers your calls, a restoration department that does satisfactory work, inspectors that are certified and qualified, and our failing infrastructure. As a board director, decisions we make relates to property values, safety, long-term financial planning, use of property, and maintenance amenities. Shareholders, we want to feel comfortable and feel like we are part of the community. We want our voices heard. I ask you, my neighbors, to support me on a continuing journey to improve our quality of life in a financially responsible manner. As we all know, it takes a village. We can do all things if we do it together. Please vote to re-elect Leah Richardson, Leslie Peterson, elect Anika Green Watson, and Akeisha Neely. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah Richardson. Next up, we have Akeisha Neely.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Akeisha Neely, and I would like to thank the election committee and my fellow candidates for tonight. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my fellow cooperators for the encouragement I received after the last candidates forum. Thank you very much for your unwavering support. You may ask, why am I running for the board? One word, advocacy. To effectively fulfill shareholders' needs, you must listen to their concerns and make decisions that will address these issues without heavily impacting their pockets. Decisions based on input from a small subset of our population ultimately affect the entire community. This is why I'm in favor of revisiting how we receive input from shareholders. Why am I running with the Stronger Together team? I'm running with 3 like-minded individuals who have tirelessly spent their free time to create, implement, and support community programs aimed at bettering the lives of cooperators. Leah and Leslie both bring board experience, and have proven their commitment to this community. Anika has a legal background and strong analytical skills, which are good characteristics for a future board member. I'm a city worker for 22 years, and that longevity, I have many transferable skills, including leadership and organizational skills. Looking for transparency, advocacy, and unmatched analytical skills? Vote for Anika Green Watson, Akeisha Neely, and re-elect Leslie Peterson, Leah Richardson, all for one for all, because we are stronger together.
Okay, thank you very much, Akeisha Neely. Next up, we have Miss Isabel Fletcher.
Buenas noches, todos. Me llamo Isabel Fletcher. Me agradezco mucho que me das este tiempo para hablar con ustedes todos. Thank you today for giving me the opportunity to talk, my cooperators and my members and teams that are running. Hi, my name is Isabel Fletcher, a proud Latina mother of 5 beautiful children. I have lived in Co-op City for over 20 years. I have been an advocate in their schools in this community over the summer. My daughters and I organized and led a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest in Co-op City. My daughters, who represent as women of color, wanted to be on the front lines to fight for the lives that had been taken too soon. I felt we as a community needed to come together to have our voices heard. And that is exactly what 500 plus people that showed up were able to do. So with your vote for me, Isabel Fletcher, and the Team Progress team will continue to hear the community and fight to make further progress. Muchas gracias. Vote for Kevin Lambert, Sheila Richburg, Amina Lucio, Monique Coleman, and myself, Isabel Fletcher. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much, Isabel Fletcher. Next up, we have Miss Regina Hamilton.
Good evening, fellow shareholders. My name is Regina Hamilton, an independent candidate for the Riverbay Board. We are in the middle of an active campaign As I've been canvassing the neighborhood, talking to various residents, it has been apparent that change is not only necessary, but very much wanted. I am proud to say that I have visited all 35 buildings in Co-op City, and my conclusion is that this community wants ideas addressed without endless banter, infighting, and confusion. I like to get things done. A little background about myself. In college, I majored in business economics. With God's grace, I have been able to retire from serving as a New York City police officer, work on several real estate projects that were in different stages of construction, manage a budget, publish several texts, travel the world, take college level courses, hold several positions in various organizations, all while being married over 30 years and raising our children to adulthood. This takes hard work and tenacity. I'm a critical thinker and have learned to be quick on my feet. I do not back down from a challenge and take everything in stride. You will find that I stand up for myself and what is right, yet will be my worst critic. I believe these traits will help me be a great board member for the residents of Co-op City. We need experienced perspectives, as what we do now will affect generations to come. I appreciate your support. Vote Regina Hamilton. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Regina Hamilton. Next, we have Mr. Kevin Lambright.
Good evening and thank you. I'm a bit under the weather, so if my voice is a little different, it's just reality. I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Kevin Lambright. I've been in Co-op City for over 25 years now. It's the longest place I've ever lived in my life. I'm the father of 4 adults. I have to remember to say that because every time I say I have 4 children, they look at me, they give me that look, and one of my sons is looking at me right now. So I am a Supreme Court appointed guardian and court evaluator, and also a cooperative economic fundraising consultant. Now, what does that mean? Inbox me or give me a phone call. My number is in the paper, so and I'll explain all of that to you. But right now, most of you received that orange envelope, and that envelope, some people look at it as just junk mail or don't even recognize it, but it's important that you recognize it because on the ballot, there are 12 people, but there are only 5 positions. So you have to elect 5 board members, 5 new board members. So it's important that you look at that and you do just that. I am let me just say, because I'm in a lot of pain right now. I'm sorry, forgive me, but I am running with Team Progress, and that consists of myself, Kevin Lambright, Sheila Richburg, Amina Lucio, Isabel Fletcher, and Monique Coleman. We look forward to you. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, folks. We look forward to your vote, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin Lambright. Next up, we have Mr. Darrell Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Darrell Johnson. I'm running for the board of directors again. I need everybody to understand that this position lasts for 3 years, okay? So you need to elect board members that you feel very positive on, that can handle this position of a board member. Let me tell you about some of the projects that's coming up that we're facing, okay? Controversial projects. The first controversial project is a $100 million refinancing of our mortgage, okay? They want to pull out $100 million out of our, refinance our mortgage and pull out $100 million capital projects. The next controversial project that we're facing is a waterfront park, $10 million. They want to spend on the waterfront park. All right. Then we have over $60 million in capital projects. We've been receiving annual carrying charge increases since 2012. All right. So you need to ask yourself, are you going to elect board members that will support these projects, or you're going to elect board members that will work in your behalf, okay, and try to keep our carrying charges low, okay? I'm against all these carrying charge increases. I put my viewpoints in the paper. My viewpoints are direct, they're very honest, and they're to the point. And that's the type of person that you need on this board here, okay? If you're going to elect people for 3 years, think about that, 3 long years, and they're going to be supporting annual carrying charge increases, well, you might have a problem, okay? So my suggestion is that you really consider the board members that you elect, and make sure that you elect people that are going to represent the best interests of this community. Again, my name is Daryl Johnson. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daryl Johnson.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have Anika Green Watson.
So please don't start the timer yet. Before you start, may I please respectfully request that Sheila and Sandra mute their lines? I'm getting a lot of interference when people speak. So anyone who doesn't need to speak right now, can they just mute their lines? Thank you. All right, so good evening, everyone. I'm Anika Green Watson. Thank you all for attending today. I must thank the Stronger Together team once more for all the hard work everyone has put into making this a great place to live. I mentioned in my final election article last week that one lesson from the past year is that we have the ability to be way more agile than we had been historically, and that a little bit of change goes a really long way. I mentioned that identifying improvements or updates to a process is not a criticism on current process owners. In fact, this election is an opportunity to bring some additional thought leadership to the table and forge a path forward. To that end, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about Stronger Together and why I think we deserve your vote. Our team was deliberate about offering a slate of candidates with a range of expertise that we thought would complement the structure of the board. Our platform reflects that reality. Akeisha Neely's commitment to youth is unparalleled, and she somehow still finds time to be active in other pursuits, namely the Co-op City branch of the NCNW and the Co-op City Democratic Club. Akeisha's connection to the youth in our community stands to bring scope and depth when the time comes to discuss the fulfillment of the Youth Center agreement. Leah Richardson is another pillar of the community. I met her initially through the Community Relations Committee, which she chaired at the time. I honestly feel that Leah's got a secret elixir that provides her with longer than a 24-hour day because she actively participates in several organizations while maintaining a rapport with the broader community. If there is ever a problem to be solved, Leah works tirelessly to resolution. Leslie and I met through community relations as well. When I moved and lamented that there wasn't a building association, Leslie put me in touch with the right people to understand the process of starting one. Her deep knowledge of not only the community, but of management practices for a large development has proved invaluable. She has a keen awareness of issues and is a great historian to boot. I get a sense of pride when I stand alongside this trio because I know them to be experienced professionals, transparent in their motives for wanting a better co-op city for all, and 110% committed to improving the quality of our little community. Vote for all. We are stronger together.
Thank you, Anika Green Watson. Next up, we have Amina Lucio. You muted.
Good evening, friends, neighbors, and fellow candidates. My name is Amina Lucio, and I am running for the Riverbay Board of Directors. I am a daughter of Co-op City, growing up in Section 4, Building 25, and I attended 180 as well as Truman High School. After college, I returned to my beloved Co-op City, and I would not choose to live anywhere else. At present, I'm a full-time education administrator overseeing services for children and families with special needs here in the Bronx. I also serve as a member of the Education Committee for Yonkers City Council President. I serve as an executive board member for the Council of Supervisors and Administrators Union and a member of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee for New York City Department of Education. I'm a proud member of Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon, and I believe in education, empowerment, and advocacy. Maintaining and even increasing our quality of life is at the forefront of my agenda for keeping Co-op City affordable, to addressing our leaky convectors, to eliminating the cable service monopoly, ensuring that the cost of capital projects are an efficient use of our income, beautifying our building and grounds, and increasing customer service with regard to maintenance issues. We will also benefit from more transparency in how decisions are reached by broadcasting all board meeting discussions. This will afford shareholders an inside look into the complexities and advances of our community and allow for an increased community involvement and progress. A vote for Team Progress is a vote for Amina Lucio. A vote for Team Progress is a vote for Isabel Fletcher. A vote for Team Progress is a vote for Sheila Richburg. A vote for Team Progress is a vote for Monique Coleman. And a vote for Team Progress is re-electing Kevin Lambright. Vote for a better tomorrow. Let's work together to address the needs of the community. Let's continue to seek greater new heights. Let's vote Team Progress.
Thank you, Amina Lucio. Next, we have Leslie Peterson.
Can you hear me? Right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to reintroduce myself. My name is Leslie Peterson, and I'm running for re-election to the Riverbay Board of Directors. It is an honor to serve in the community where I raised my son and daughter. During my years as a resident in Co-op City, I always took the time to participate. Over the years, I have listened to my peers, elders, colleagues, and fellow shareholders. Because I listened, I have learned a lot from many who are pioneers in the community. I listened, read documents, and learned our history. I have the benefit of knowledge regarding HUD and HCR rules and regulations due to my experience as a property manager of the largest nitrogen development in the Bronx. Riverbay is governed by these documents with some variation. A director's priority must be the well-being of fellow cooperators. The time is now to establish better ways to conduct business. Timeliness of repair requests and missed appointments have to become a thing of the past. Quick turnover of vacant units must continue to increase, but properly inspected upon completion. Vacant units is a loss of revenue. For our mortgage agreement, it is time for another property assessment. It will reveal capital projects that may lay ahead, and we have to make informed decisions when proceeding. Making an informed decision, I voted no to an increase in our budget. At this time, a waterfront constituting 1.1% of the proposed increase is not warranted. Later, perhaps. Now, no. Budgets passed by the board are sent to HCR for review. HCR will hold a meeting, perhaps virtually, to hear from you. It is your opportunity to express yourself before they make the final decision. In my opinion, the calculation of surcharges and income limits need to be reviewed. Riverbay cannot make those changes, but let's request a discussion and do what is fair and just for cooperators. Vote all for one and one for all. Re-elect me, Leslie Peterson, and Leah Richardson, and elect Akeisha Neely and Anika Green Watson. We are stronger together. For more information, go to our website at aall4board.com. Thank you.
Thank you, and that concludes the opening statements. Now I'll turn the meeting over to the co-chair, Michelle Marbury, and our council, Jeff Fuss.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, and good luck to all the candidates. We'll start off with the first question, and the topic is dogs. It's a two-part question coming from two shareholders, Ms. Christina Salsa and Ms. Arlene Kelly. Part A to the question is this: my biggest concern in Co-op City can everyone hear me? And would everyone please mute yourself until you're called on, please? Everyone mute until you're asked to speak. Thank you. Okay, I'll start again. My biggest concern in Co-op City is our everyday quality of life. One issue that is heavy on my mind is how to be proactive about dealing with dog owners' negligence to curb their dogs and pick up their poop. This is a growing and unhealthy issue that will only get worse as the number of dogs in co-op increases. The next part to the question is this: I'm a 33 years shareholder, and I moved here because Riverbay had a no dog mandate. We are now sharing the elevators with dogs as big as small horses. Please help us that do not want large dogs in our homes. Awaiting your answer and action from the board of directors from a 33-year shareholder. Okay, that is the topic. Those are the questions. We will start with candidate number 1, Monique Coleman.
Thanks, Michelle. So I've been here for over 30 years too, and I belonged to this community when we did not allow dogs in Co-op City. But my understanding is that we were sued, as we were all sued. We're all shareholders. We're all owners, and that based on that suit and the Americans with Disability Act, we were required to allow people to bring, to have animals. And so because we're forced to be compliant, I think that the way that we can be proactive is by banding together. We're all part of this community. We're all in it together. We all have to live cooperatively, and we can't be quiet when we see something that isn't right. We shouldn't be afraid to speak to our neighbors. If an animal is aggressive, then do not get in the elevator with it. And, we should speak up. If an animal, leaves something behind and the owner doesn't pick up, we can politely, not aggressively, remind our neighbors that, it's their responsibility to pick it up. There are poop bag stations all over the Greenway. I only noticed them very recently, and I thought it was great because, it gives people, who may not be prepared, a way to be prepared and to be responsible about taking care of their animals. So, we can't stop our neighbors from having dogs. Most of the dogs that, are in my building and that I've met are pleasant and kind. But, we can all do this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique Coleman. Next up, Ms. Sheila Richburg. Same question.
Thank you so much. Co-op City is such a beautiful development, and this can be a concerning issue regarding dogs. Excuse me. There are many dog owners who follow the rules, but there are some that do not. As we know, HUD and the ADA has determined that Co-op City residents can have dogs and comfort dogs for certain conditions like anxiety and depression with a letter from your doctor. And there are no size specifications. I'm a lover of dogs, and I see many of our shareholders following the rules. But there are some, whether they're legal or illegal dog owners, they may not be following the rules. I have seen some large dogs, some vicious dogs, and some dogs not even on a leash walking through our Co-op City area, not to mention the dog excrement that's left on the grounds. As a shareholder and as a member of the Riverbay Board of Directors, I would encourage everyone to report any violations that you may see to public safety. Shareholders can take a picture of anyone that's not following the rules so it can be investigated. I would also recommend working with the dog owners to see if there can be a dog park or a dog area specifically for the dogs. In some developments, dog owners are asked to report their dogs on their annual affidavits so that dog owners can be accountable for their dogs. Dogs may be here to stay, so we have to find a way to work with dogs.
Time out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheila Richburg. And is Mr. Alexian Ducre present? Okay, we'll move on to Ms. Leah Richardson. Leah Richardson, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. I also agree with Sheila Richburg in reference to the compliancy and in reference to speaking to CCPD and about the issue. The dogs are a very sensitive topic, and it is important that if we do speak to a shareholder that does have a dog, we respectfully ask them to please contain their dogs, because you don't want to escalate the situation. If you see any dogs without any proper ID, I encourage you to either take a picture and ask CCPD if they can look into the situation. Regarding the poop stations that you see around Co-op City, I presented that issue to the board and to management, and then now we have the poop stations. I also spoke to management about having more signs around the greenway in reference to picking up, after your pet. And we have those signs as well. So as a board director, I was actively involved in that issue with the dogs. So yeah, so I do agree with what Sheila said, and I also encourage shareholders to speak to management if they see that there's an issue with the dogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah Richardson, and now Akeisha Neely.
Yes. Can you hear me?
We hear you, yes.
Okay, great. So as the other candidates have stated, we do have we were sued, so there's not much that we can do in reference to the dogs. But my suggestion would be to activate something like a whistleblower line, similar to that, something that we already have, only because some people may not feel comfortable. Those that are not comfortable speaking to their neighbors, they should have another way or another avenue to visit if they don't feel comfortable speaking to their neighbors in regards to these dogs. Because some people do have a fear of dogs, and that fear of dogs may translate to a fear of their owner. So I think that initiating a whistleblower line to have the cooperators call, and maybe an email or something to submit pictures or something of that nature would be excellent. And to also maybe think about an ad hoc committee. We have so many other committees. So why not have a committee that will work together? Because the dogs are becoming a growing, I don't want to say a problem to some and not a solution to others. So maybe we have a committee that works together to see what other solutions that we can come up that would work for the dog owners and those that are fearful of the dogs.
Thank you. Thank you, Akeisha Neely. And now Isabel Fletcher, please.
Hi. As we all know, it's the ADA rule, and it's something that helps the people in our community cope with stress, emotional, so it's a little bit touchy. I do agree with a lot of team members that talking to cooperators is a little bit on the edge, because you don't want to affect someone if they're already going through things. We don't want to affect them, so you may know your neighbor. It'd be okay if you speak to them. Maybe if you don't know your neighbor so well, I don't think that's a healthy situation there. I do think that there should be enforcements or committees for them to know, and the signs. I've always said that they should have more signs around the greenway. It'd be easier for them to see, and then them say, okay, you know what, we gotta make sure that we keep up. But this is our grounds. This is for our children, for our families, for us to use as a place for us to release stress and walk as well. And it should be something that we take the dogs to the curb if all cooperators can. I know that many can't, but if they can, you take it to the curb. And if you can't bend down because you are in pain or you're having issues, then at least we know the cleaner could clean it up, but I just wish that everyone could do, but sometimes it could be hard for some not to be able to bend over or take care of their, I know they have them, but it's hard sometimes. I've seen it. But taking the dog to the curb would be the easiest thing for everyone, so that it's not on the ground, it's behind our buildings. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. And the next up is Regina Hamilton. Ms. Hamilton, you have the floor.
Thank you. My solution would be, because of the lawsuit, that all dog owners would have to register their dogs with Co-op City, and they would have an identifying vest or a leash that if CCPD would know that these dogs belong to the Co-op City resident. And as far as the picking up of the dog waste, I believe it would be easy to just put a bag station in the lobbies, a small bag station, because I see that the stations are few and far between. So some dog owners may not be able to get all the way to the station to pick up a bag. So if you have a small area in the lobby as you go out of the building, you can pick up a bag, and then you would be responsible to pick up the waste, and all the shareholders would know, because you have the identifying mark on the dog, that it is a Co-op City dog and it is registered with Co-op City. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Hamilton. And we're going to move on now to Kevin Lambright. Kevin Lambright, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. You've heard from about, I think, 7 people already about the dogs and what people think and how people feel. When I came to Co-op City, there was a no dog policy when I came here a little over 25 years ago. I had a support washing machine that I had to get rid of because I couldn't bring it to Co-op City. And I say support washing machine because I really needed it. I really liked that washing machine. I had it for a little while, but I had to really give it away if I was going to move to Co-op City. A lot of people come here and they have dogs. I'm a dog lover. I grew up with dogs. But I also am aware of the fact that there are some people here who have dogs that are, let me just say, I was going to use the word unlawful. And even if, and some people know that it's real simple, it's real easy to get a note from your doctor to say you need that you need a dog. And I'm not afraid to say that other people have rights too. Yes, people who have emotional issues, yes, they, and if you need a dog for medical reasons, yes, I'm all for that. But those who don't and who are taking advantage, we have to figure something out. We really do. Because dogs are allowed to run on the grass, but our children are not. There's just so much. There's just so much unfairness when it comes to that. So we have to figure something out, because there are people who also have asthma, and they have rights as well. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Lambright. And now we're going to move on. Our next candidate, Darrell Johnson. Darrell Johnson, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Here are my solutions to this issue with the complaints about dogs. The key is to think about using our cameras. Okay, we have a lot of cameras throughout the community. Dogs pretty much will have to relieve themselves in the morning time. What public safety can do is set up an operation whereby if they see on our cameras that some cooperators are not picking up after their dogs, then they need to issue community complaints to those cooperators. We have think about all the cameras that we have here on the greenway, on the buildings. All right, in the morning time, pretty much everyone will have to take their dogs out in the morning. So that's a great time to say, look, hey, we're going to really, really monitor these cameras, and we're going to start issuing community complaints. After a while, people say, well, look, hey, I got a community complaint. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop. Now, we cannot discriminate between a small dog and a large dog. So I know some people might not like large dogs, but we can control the situation because the law does not allow people to have dogs that exhibit violence. If there's a dog in your building or anywhere in this community that exhibits violence, report that dog. That dog, Riverbay can take action against that owner and have that dog removed from this community. Please remember that when you think about these violent dogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And next up, candidate 10, Ms. Anika Green-Watson. Anika Green-Watson, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I too remember a time when we were a dogless community, but again, in compliance with ADA guidelines, as you know, several candidates have mentioned, we find ourselves sharing spaces with dog owners now. And I think this is an opportunity to be thoughtful about solutions so everyone in the community can continue to enjoy the space no matter where they fall on the spectrum about having dogs. We all have a responsibility to keep the community running effectively, and we have rules which govern how to occupy shared spaces. As I mentioned before last week, in fact, when we were talking about rules, I'm always in favor of enforcement with respect to the particular rules that are related to what I like to call quality of life issues. So this incorporates, the pet issue before us, noise related to pets and upkeep of the common areas. So I think with respect to the dog issue, we have to rely on the vigilance of our neighbors, i.e. ourselves, to ensure that fellow shareholders are being good neighbors. There's a mechanism for reporting infractions, and unfortunately, we just have to make sure that we're raising these issues to management, and we'll have the ability to issue community complaints. We have to make it prohibitive for shareholders to engage in certain types of behavior while making sure that we're compliant with applicable regulations. And the way to make it prohibitive is, through the fining structure. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Watson. And next up, candidate number 11, Ms. Amina Lucio. Please mute, everybody mute. There's a lot of feedback right now. Hold on, Ms. Lucio. Okay, everybody mute. Thank you, except Ms. Amina Lucio. Thank you.
Thank you. So I've always been part of that marketing mantra. If you see something, say something. After 9/11, we heard a lot of that on the trains and our bus systems. We need to really, if we see something, say something. We shouldn't be afraid to have conversations with our neighbors. I am a dog lover. I love dogs. I don't own a dog because of the responsibility that it takes to feed and walk and care for a dog. But I do love dogs. And as a psychologist, I understand the need for therapy dogs. I understand the need for comfort animals. So I get it. Perhaps we need to explore, as someone mentioned earlier, I believe Sheila, the affidavit. Folks placing their dogs on the affidavit. Also, a chip implant. Maybe we can explore a chip implant where all dogs receive some kind of chip implant and we're able to track, just like the COVID tracking app that was just developed during the pandemic. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to consider when we're talking about comfort animals and service animals, and whether or not they're legal or illegally maintained here in Co-op City. So perhaps a chip implant, exploring the affidavit, and of course, having discussions with our neighbors. Our neighbors are just like us. They love their animals. I'm an animal lover. I get it. And I would love to see, if we ever explore further, the water park creating a dog park. A dog track for dogs to meet up and they can receive their exercise. And of course, the dog owners can meet up as well. So there's a lot to discuss with regard to dogs, and I'm willing to explore.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amina Lucio. And next up, Ms. Leslie Peterson. Leslie Peterson, you have the floor.
Hi,
everybody mute. Hold up 1 second, Ms. Peterson. Everybody mute except Leslie Peterson. Everybody mute. Okay, go, Leslie.
Somebody, I got muted. I'm sorry. Yes, what I wanted to state is that we did have an ad hoc committee. It was a dog committee, the ad hoc dog committee, and many of the things that we learned, many people need to know. So I'm listening to a lot of ideas here, and while they're all really great ideas, the majority of them are illegal. The Americans with Disabilities Act, the federal government, state, and city have guidelines. You cannot force somebody that has a comfort or a service dog to take them to a dog park. So while the idea is nice, you cannot make them go there. When it comes to them wearing vests, you cannot discriminate and make them an object, or you cannot discriminate. So the fact of tags, we were looking at tags and different colors and stuff so that officers would be able to determine who is a legal dog and not a legal dog. You determine the breed. You cannot determine. There are many things that Americans with Disabilities Act and the government has forbid us from doing when you have a service and a service and a comfort dog. So what we may have to consider is something that NYCHA did consider, because this is going to continue. I remember when there was only 300 dogs, and I think we're now up to maybe 1,000. And what will happen is people will continue to go to their doctors and get notes. And this was happening with NYCHA also. So what they did to get control of it is NYCHA is way older than Co-op City. They took control. They made themselves a dog community, and now they have control of the breed, the number of dogs, the size, the weight, and insurance and other things also. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. And now I will turn the mic over to everybody mute, please. Everybody mute. Okay, I'll turn the mic over now to our counsel, Jeffrey Buss, for the next question. Jeff, you have it.
Hi, Michelle, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Before I ask the next question, I just want to make sure that people look in their mail. You should have received your ballot. If you didn't get it Friday, or you should get it by Monday at the latest. It looks like a parking ticket. It's not. It comes in a bright orange envelope. But anyone who has one that can vote either by mail or electronically by going to the website or on your computer or in your phone. The question of interest to many, many people is the quality of our cable service. And we had multiple shareholders write questions asking for input from candidates on shareholders' displeasure with cable service. Arlene Kelly and Joseph Gonzalez were two of those shareholders, and I've kind of combined their questions. And the question is this: what can be done to bring more cable companies and high-speed wireless service to Co-op City? And if you are elected, what would you do to lower cost, improve the quality of cable service, or improve access to high-speed wireless service? And that question goes first to Monique Coleman. Ms. Coleman? You have to
unmute yourself, Ms. Coleman.
Thank you. I kept muting and unmuting. So cable is one of my hot button issues. I mean, I experience frustration with our cable company every single day, and it just makes me so angry because we pay so much and the service is so poor. But you know, I think we should explore, look outside the box. Right now, we have a contract with Optimum or Cable Vision, I guess, and it comes due in 2024. And, you know, the other alternative might be Verizon. I think that they're two of the same. I think that that is not enough. I think we need to explore fiber optics. I think we need to look at 5G. I think we need to explore infrastructure projects that we can control ourselves. There are smart cities all over the United States that have, you know, really interesting projects where communities control their own internet and cable access, and I think we should explore that first. And I don't have any technical expertise, but I've talked to a lot of people, and I know it can be done. So, you know, I think that we should explore 5G and fiber optics.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Coleman. Next, Sheila Richburg.
Thank you. Our current contract with Optimum Cablevision will end in 2024. And it is my position, as well as my recommendation, that we begin to vet some alternative companies now. I'm sure when the word is out that this huge community of Co-op City is looking for cable companies, that we will find some competitive rates. We can look for companies other than the giants like Cablevision and Verizon that may offer high-speed service here in this community. I think friendly competition always works. Why do we have a monopoly when there's so many other companies out there? If we open up the bidding, we are assured to find people that are willing to work with us. I know there are companies that offer services and streaming services such as YouTube, Sling TV, Hulu, to name a few. and they have multiple TV channels. Not all of us need Wi-Fi. Some of us don't. We would only have to look for Wi-Fi. Myself, I have a cable-ready TV, and I don't pay for cable. I only pay for Wi-Fi because my TV has that built-in system where I get thousands of channels, which service me. I get live TV shows, I have Netflix, and I don't pay $200, $300, $400 for cable service because I think it's a waste. I work too hard for my money. So I think the days of us having monopoly like Optimum and Cablevision providing subpar services can be over if we just do our homework. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Richburg. Next, I don't believe Mr. Ducre has joined us. Mr. Ducre, are you there though? Okay, so next the question goes to Leah Richardson.
Hi, good evening again. Yes, that's a very, very sticky subject with Verizon, Altice, and so forth. Our previous management agent negotiated this multi-year deal with Verizon. It should end in 2024, I believe. But we as a community, we should be able to do some research, and I believe also that we need to have an ad hoc committee, but an ad hoc committee that has technical experience. We need technical expertise to navigate our way through this, because this is a huge development, and it takes like fiber optics and knowledge to mandate this this development. But personally, I feel that we really only need Wi-Fi. Just like Ms. Richburg said, there's so much options out there. We shouldn't really have to focus ourselves on these conglomerates, companies out here that want to monopolize our development. So, you know, there's a myriad of things that we can do, but more importantly, we need an ad hoc committee that has experienced technical people involved. And that's basically it.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Richardson.
That's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Next, Ms. Akeisha Neely.
Hi. So with the cable situation, as the other candidates have stated, it's best that we explore all the options, because now is the time that we need to start renegotiating either with Cablevision or Verizon, because the city had a lawsuit with Verizon, so they're obligated to step in and wire certain areas after that lawsuit. We also need to look into what we can do ourselves as a community. We once had community home entertainment, which is outdated and antiquated, but you know, maybe if we have a committee of IT professionals that can work together, we can come up with a solution to come up with a better way and a lower cost, so that cooperatives aren't spending as much money. And as a lot of people mentioned, we're now streaming, but in order to stream, you need the Wi-Fi. So if we can look for bundles or packages that would have a wider bandwidth of Wi-Fi, that would suit more people. So again, I would suggest that we would form an ad hoc committee or some other committee with IT professionals that are trained to look into these things, because technology changes overnight. So we need to constantly stay on top of it. And with a committee, we'll be able to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Neely. Next, Ms. Isabel Fletcher.
Hi. We need more options for cable service. Competition is healthy. Having more choices will help manage costs. I will make sure we survey various companies to see who can better service us. I will make this a priority. I also think that many areas have towers, so that can be something that we can see if there's somewhere down the line an investment in that, somewhere in the budget for us to have a tower, because many areas have them, and it helps the service for big communities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Fletcher. So let's see, next we have Regina Hamilton. Ms. Hamilton.
Thank you. Yes, I have a little bit of knowledge about this subject, as my father retired from Verizon after 46 years perfect attendance. He was there when it was New York Telephone. So the basic thing I know about it is that most of the cable companies use the same wires. So I would suggest reviewing the contracts. I don't know why a contract was signed that only allowed one cable company to be in this community, but we need to take more care to review contracts. And also, when it is up, we need to be able to look at the proposals from other companies. Also, just because we're on the board doesn't mean we have a lot of IT professionals in Co-op City. So I would be willing to engage those residents and have them come and tell us more about the services that we're receiving and how we can identify ways to cut costs in that area. It just doesn't have to be limited to the 15 members. We can actually ask people that have expertise in that field. So that would be my solution to that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Hamilton. Next, Mr. Kevin Lambright.
Yes, thank you. When I first came to Co-op City, I didn't know too much about co-ops, but I believed that co-ops, they owned everything. Like they owned their own stores, everything was owned by the shareholders. They owned their own everything, power plant. And when I got here, I realized a reality set in. But going back to the cable in the next couple of years is going to be a thing of the past. I know a little bit of something about this because I've been in communications for over 30 years. And I know for a fact that technology changes every 3 to 6 months. I don't believe we should sign any contract at this point. We should not sign any contract with anyone because the way technology is starting to work is you can get any channel you want as long as you can get it through the internet. The problem is where are we going to get the internet from? I think that once universal internet starts, which the mayor is currently working on, or should I say the city is working on, once that starts, that's what we need to tap into, and then we can get a whole group of cable channels and discount all of our shareholders at the same time. So we need to be in control of our own cable if it's going to be cable. But let's not even call it cable anymore because that's going to be a thing of the past. Television. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lambright. Next, Mr. Darrell Johnson.
Okay, thank you. I want to encourage everyone to go online and please look up this subject that we're talking about right now. Google Bill de Blasio sues Verizon. Just Google that, please, and you'll get the correct answer to what we have going on here. Riverbay has just a marketing agreement with this cable company, Optimum, okay? That's it. Any company can come in here. In fact, when you Google that article there, you'll see that if anyone in this city says, look, hey, we want Fios, Verizon has to legally provide it within 7 days. Okay, look up the information for yourself and you'll see that what I'm saying to you is 100% correct. In reference, so we can't control what Optimum does, Cablevision does, all these other, we can't control that. We can't stop other cable companies from coming in here. Look it up and you'll see I'm 100% correct on this. What we can do is we can file complaints. Also, people are using streaming devices. Okay, if you don't like your cable service, do a Google search on streaming devices. People are getting thousands of channels, okay? And they're paying far less than what they are for their cable service. So I want you to encourage you to look up streaming devices and you'll see how people have gotten away from cable and how they're saving a ton of money. They're getting thousands of channels. Again, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Darrell Johnson. Next, Ms. Anika Green Watson, please.
Thank you. So Co-op City has a current contract with Optimum Altice, which expires in 2024. Many people have said that. The contract includes an exclusive marketing agreement, similar to what Darrell just said. regardless of the exclusive marketing agreement, which is not the same as a monopoly. The Federal Communications Commission, otherwise known as the FCC, mandates that all cable providers must have access to Co-op City for wiring homes. So no provider has been precluded from offering services here, including Verizon. Let's start there. Again, similar to what Daryl said, many of you are probably aware that Verizon just settled a years-long lawsuit with New York City in which Verizon has agreed to connect additional homes as an internet service provider, and they have a deadline of July 2023. Juxtapose that with the fact that our contract with Optimum is expiring soon. Obviously, the next 3 years are going to be important for cementing the path forward for cable and internet services in Co-op City. I'm a fan of exploring infrastructure updates that would allow us to be more marketable, even if that means forging the path ahead under a proprietary service. But whatever path we take really needs to be reviewed with a fine-tooth comb, and we must make sure that we engage the expertise of people who really understand these ISP deals, both from a technology standpoint and from a legal standpoint, so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where we feel we're receiving subpar technology at premium rates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Green Watson. Next, Ms. Amina Lucio.
Hi. So I'm currently sitting in the Bartow office because my internet service is so weak and so unreliable. I subscribe to Verizon DSL, which is very similar to dial-up. And since I've been working from home for the last year, I've noticed a change when I have a laptop as well as my cell phone and other items such as the television going on. When I first moved to Co-op City, I subscribed to Community Home Entertainment. I believe that's what it was called. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, they disappeared. And since then, I have not had cable. And why haven't I had cable? Because of the high prices that we're paying for cable service. Something so elementary, something that should not cost $100 a month. So I refuse to purchase cable at this time. However, I do maintain internet service, and I do have a Fire Stick, and I have Netflix streaming because I do believe in good customer service. Just a week ago, I contacted Optimum and I ordered online Optimum 300 with the Core TV package. It was advertised for $60. By the time I finished ordering, it was over $100. When they called me to install, it was an additional $20. And I said, why is it so expensive? And then, of course, unreliable. So I think we have to take time to explore. As all of the other candidates have stated, we have to take time to explore, survey other companies, vet other companies, and determine what is best for our community.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Lucio. Next, Ms. Leslie Peterson.
Yes, most people have responded to the question in ways that I would. Darryl is absolutely correct. Director Johnson, I'm sorry, is absolutely correct that the contract will expire in 2024. When we entered into this contract, it was around 2004, 2003, somewhere back there, from what I read. And a lot of technology was not as advanced as it is now, and no one really knew that it was going to proceed the way that it did. That being said, like Darryl said, we have always had the option of having companies come in, okay, regardless of what Verizon may have been telling people, because there was always a debate back and forth. Right now, I do feel, and let me just say, when you have committees, you do always ask for the cooperators to request to be on the committee. In this particular case, reinstituting and making the IT committee active, that would be one committee where I would ask for resumes, because you want people that are technologically astute. And usually people that know about this, they usually stay on top of what's coming and what's going to be down the road. And always remember that because we are large, we will always be like a revenue source for any company. So I think we need to be very careful, and we cannot leave out our seniors, because many of them, while we all talk about streaming, many of them, we have to be cognizant of what their needs will be also. So yes, I do think reinstituting the IT committee is the way to go.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Leslie Peterson. I'm now going to turn the meeting back over to Michelle Marbury. Michelle?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jeff Buss. Council, thank you again, candidates. And we're going to move on to the next question. And let's reverse the order and start from the bottom and move up. And the topic for the next question is public safety and CCPD. So we're going to start in reverse order. And the questions are in two parts from two different shareholders. The first part of the question is, in an effort to achieve more accountability and access to our public safety professionals, how will you implement a plan to have the public safety chief answer questions from cooperators and board members in an open forum? The next part of that question regarding public safety is Chief Joseph Riley has been deploying CCPD officers in 6, 9, and 12 persons per shift. How do those candidates who call to increasing visibility of CCPD propose to do so? Okay, those are the questions, and we'll start with candidate number 12, Ms. Leslie Peterson. Leslie, you have the floor. Everybody mute.
Oh, okay. Yes, the first part of the question, I believe you were asking, how can you get Chief Riley to answer in a public forum? Could you reiterate, is that what the question was?
Yes, in an effort to achieve more accountability and access to our public safety professionals, how will you implement a plan to have the public safety chief answer questions from cooperatives and board members in an open forum?
Okay.
Would everyone mute their phones, please? Would everyone mute?
Okay.
Yes, I think we're good now.
Okay. Well, the fact of the matter is that he has been in open forums, and I think recently in one of our meetings that we had, he said he has been in many meetings, and he has been questioned, and he has been asked about community policing. The fact is not to get him to be at the meetings or respond at the meetings. It is to get him to actually act upon what the shareholders are asking for. That's the way I see that. The other thing is that he said recently that there were 9 to 12 people, a maximum of 9 to 12 patrolmen on any shift. That is not the full complement of officers that are on any shift. We currently are budgeted for 120 officers. However, we only have 80 officers. I have lived here for 35 years. I used to know the officers that covered my area. And so you can put officers in different areas to cover a sector. The officer that we had covering our area covered building 9 through 14. No, he wasn't sitting in the car, he was walking around, but I saw him, he was visible. If we were in a room, he stopped by. So the fact of the matter is perhaps we need to get our full complement. We are budgeted for the full complement, so we can just increase from the 80 to the 120 positions that we have. It does take time, but our offices currently are not visible and they need to be, okay? And I believe that many people would feel safe, okay? And some of our complaints about infractions of rules might be addressed if they were more visible. Thank you. Hello?
Thank you, Leslie. Michelle, start working. I'm going to take over to Michelle back with his song. Since Michelle was going in reverse order, candidate number 11 is Amina Lucio. Ms. Lucio?
Yes. So an open forum, definitely, it has to go beyond an open forum just to the directors. There should be more communication, more outreach to actual residents. I know that a report is given to the directors, and I think that that report should be I believe that that report should be made public, such as the number of calls received for services. Is it a call for help versus a criminal mischief? We don't know what the crimes are, if any are occurring. We are, I have to say, a low crime community. which is, I'm grateful for, but we still should have access to information shared with, well, what exactly are the calls that they're receiving? Is it property damage? Is it, falling objects? Is it a suspicious person? And then, of course, we should also be given publicly, it should be made public, summonses issued. What types of summonses are issued? Is it abuse of premises, such as vandalism, or littering, loitering, noise complaints? And then, of course, any sweeps or arrests made, we should also have access to that information. The community should. Any arrests, any mall checks that are occurring, and of course, vertical patrols. I agree that we should have police officers that are more present in the community. And if we only have 80, then maybe we should have auxiliary cops or auxiliary officers to make up for the difference of the 120 from 80 that are actually budgeted for. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Michelle, go ahead.
Yes, okay, thank you, Amina Lucio. And next up, Anika Green Watson. Anika Green Watson, you have the floor.
Okay, so when we talk about the safety of our community, we're not speaking in a vacuum. In actuality, other communities across the nation are feeling and pushing for community policing. In fact, the NYPD itself is attempting a new patrol paradigm. Community policing has the potential to serve a variety of purposes, namely crime reduction and changes to how the residents interact with the police, strengthening that bond. So there are a couple of ways we can approach problems in general. Detective or mitigation, which would either be to accept things as they are, to avoid talking about them altogether, to transfer the responsibility perhaps to a NYPD, as I've heard people mention, right? Or to reduce the risk. All I'm advocating for is to ensure that the resources that we commit to CCPD result in our residents feeling safer. And so to Leslie's point, that means to have the full appointment of officers to which we are entitled. Improve CCPD visibility means just that, improve. It does not mean there isn't any visibility at all or that we can't do other things in conjunction. With respect to the public safety chief question, I myself have seen him in a public forum answering questions. So again, echoing Leslie's sentiments, I don't think that's the issue. Accountability, though, and visibility would do a lot to continue to build that relationship with the community. So that's where I think we spend our efforts.
Thank you, Ms. Anika Green Watson. Next up, Darrell Johnson. Darrell Johnson, you have the floor. Darrell, unmute yourself.
Chief Riley is a very nice gentleman. He's very respectful. He respects the board. He respects the community. He does answer questions. What we can do, just like we're having this meeting right now, we can have a board meeting and we can have him here during the board meeting and he can answer your questions. Or what you can do is you can invite him to your building meeting. Just have a building meeting and he will go to your building meeting. Okay. Again, he's a very nice gentleman. In reference to visibility, look, we have a lot of cameras in this community. Okay, a lot. And those cameras need to be monitored. Also, my suggestion has been to place an officer. Say, for instance, we have clusters of buildings. We can place an officer, we should place an officer near the cluster of buildings. So you have the cameras being monitored and you have an officer near the cluster of buildings. If somebody commits a crime in a building, that officer or team of officers can pretty much arrest that suspect. That's what you want here. We, in reference, carrying charge increases. Okay, we have the money for it. Look at all the carrying charge increases. $10 million for a waterfront park. What would you need that for? You could spend that money on bringing improvements to your public safety. That's the way I would do things. All right, instead of spending, say, $10 million on a waterfront park, taking $100 million out of your loan. Invest in your public safety. That's the way we should do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell Johnson. And next up, candidate number 8, Kevin Lambright. Kevin Lambright, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. There's just so much. I'll try to get it all in. investing in public safety is very important. I recently took over the chair for the security committee, so I've been in contact with Chief Riley for, well, at least 3 or 4 times a week. We meet. We haven't had any security meetings on Zoom, mainly because a lot of the information is very sensitive. And if everybody's not in the same room, there's certain information I do not want to get out and that we should not put out there into the public. As far as the hiring more officers for visibility, that money has to come from somewhere. And just so there's no misconception, the water park, I know some people are telling you, and they constantly saying that it's $10 million. It's but $10 million. It's a misconception. That's and if some of you feel manipulated, I understand because of that, but it's not $10 million. And most of the people who are in the room and in the boardroom already know that, but some of us would rather say $10 million because it sounds good. It's not. Money for public safety has got to come from somewhere. We are set to, we have a class in right now, and that should bring us up some more. So we're going to start within the next 3 weeks. We're going to start seeing more visibility because we have more officers coming on. Time up.
Thank you, Mr. Lambright. And next up, Regina Hamilton. Regina Hamilton, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's pretty much my area of expertise, having been a New York City police officer for over 20 years. I retired. I worked in all 5 boroughs in different capacities over the years, and I've seen many things. The best day for as an officer on patrol was when no one was in need of an emergency, when no one even needed us to assist them. So what I have noticed, though, is that the community actually sets the standards for the public safety and for the community. So the police officers are there to complement the standards that are set in the community. So I think that we should be able to raise the standards, and then you don't really need as many police. If you look at some of the neighborhoods right here in the Bronx, they don't have a heavy police presence because they have a higher standard. They look to a higher standard. They expect a certain standard. And that's what we should do here in Co-op City. No officer can be in one place at all times. And I've even seen where when a criminal activity was going to occur, some criminals will call you to one location because they're doing something in another. And so therefore the police officer is not even in that location. So we have to be very careful about designating an officer to stand in one place or to be in one place. What we should do is just encourage everyone to raise the standards. And I believe with engagement, I know I can bring that engagement and let people know we want to live beautiful here. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Hamilton. Next up, Ms. Isabel Fletcher. Isabel Fletcher, you have the floor.
Thank you. Community policing is so important. It is important that the top model being approachable in order to hear needs of the cooperator, also taking a page for the NYPD around the intentional work now happening around the community, policing. We also need to look at the funding, see what we may need to supplement, and safety needs of Co-op City. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fletcher. And next up, Akeisha Neely. Akeisha Neely, you have the floor.
Hi. So for many years, I did work for the NYPD in the roll call office. So in the roll call office, what we had to do is we had to allocate the resources of the precinct effectively to the areas that needed the most attention. So if we have cameras that need to be monitored, we need to make sure that we allocate the resources the way we're supposed to, with people that are doing sweeps, people that are monitoring the cameras. We do have, from what I understand, CCPD is actually budgeted in the budget that we currently have. Quote me if I'm wrong, then you check it. But if they're already allocated, why not already hire these people? We do have a class coming in, but how many people in that class? So if we need to have the right allocation of people in the right specific spots, we need to make sure that we hold everyone accountable, and we need to make sure that even if we're having these conversations, we need to understand that the cooperators need to be heard. And the cooperators right now, they don't feel safe. So we can have open forums and meetings, but if the cooperators aren't feeling like their needs are being met and the allocation isn't done the right way, then it doesn't make any sense. So we need accountability, and we need the proper allocation of our resources, and we need to make sure that we hire and have the right amount of officers for CCPD. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Neely. And next up, Leah Richardson. Leah Richardson, you have the floor.
Thank you. Yes, I agree with Dara that Chief Riley is vocal in the community. We need more accountability, of course, from CCPD and visibility. I also agree that we need to invest in our public safety more than we are doing so. I strongly encourage community policing and engagement. The goal of community policing is to reduce crime and disorder by carefully examining the problems in the neighborhoods and then applying appropriate problem-solving remedies. It is a proposal that was implemented years ago in our community, and it worked. If we see police presence regularly, then it will also ease our minds, and we will feel a sense of security in our community. Shareholders need to attend the town hall meetings that occurs throughout the year so they can have a voice and they can voice their opinions. This allows the community to have the ability to speak, be heard, and have their perspectives considered. So, and I also agree that, we need to hire more police. We have the money. We need to reallocate our monies respectively. And that's my comment.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. And next up, Sheila Richburg. Ms. Sheila Richburg, you have the floor.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Go right ahead.
Thank you. As per some of our latest crime reports, crime here in Co-op City is 50% lower than the national average. And statistics report major crimes are actually down in our community right now. This decrease may be related to the pandemic or it may not. We have approximately 85 public safety officers now to secure our entire community, costing us $13 million a year. As a fiscally responsible board director, I would first recommend that our Riverbay Board Security Committee communicate with our CCPD chief and request that there's an evaluation of the utilization of our officers. What are our officers doing? What are they doing during their 8-hour period or 9-hour period that they work? Are we fully utilizing our 80+ officers that we have? Are they working to their maximum? Are we willing to just pay more for officers that aren't doing what they're supposed to do? Sometimes having more officers doesn't equate to being more efficient or making us safer. I think inviting our CCPD chief or his designee to our building associations or having an open forum to express our concerns as shareholders is very important, and it is needed at this point. And I would just, again, recommend that we look at the current utilization of the 85 officers that we do have and not incite fear in our shareholders at a time when our community is considered one of the safest in the Bronx. If crime statistics change, then yes, let's increase our CCPD. I think it would be a fiscally responsible decision. Thank you so much.
And thank you. And next up, Monique Coleman. Monique Coleman, you have the floor.
So many good ideas have already been shared before. And like many of the other candidates, I, applaud our community's low crime rate and grateful for it. More officers and more visibility does cost more money. So I support an analysis, just like Sheila said, of what exactly they're doing. I mean, we know that CCPD patrols in cars and on bicycles and on foot. And as Regina said, they can't be every place at one time. One of the things I've seen in some of our capital projects is that we're restoring lobbies. And in one lobby, I saw this lovely camera or television, but it was a television with multiple camera views of the building, of the stairwells and the lobby and the areas around the building. And I think that, we have to acknowledge we're all in this together. And so if we had technology to help support the security, we as cooperators could also participate and see something, say something, so we could be part of the process, the process of maintaining our safety. And then in terms of having, access to the chief, I support them, coming to building meetings and maybe having quarterly forums where cooperators could ask questions directly. But, during this entire process, as many people that I've spoken to, many people don't even realize that there's an election going on. They don't know. They don't. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I couldn't see your, I didn't see it. Thank you.
So, Francine, if you're the chair here, but do we have time for one quick question, one more round? We started a little late.
I think so. Yes.
Okay, then I'll jump right in. Thank you. And Monique Coleman, we're going to go first with you. And this is actually a committee question. Many shareholders do not participate in our community. They don't attend building association or town hall meetings. They don't keep themselves informed by reading the Co-op City Times or the community newsletter. They don't serve on committees. They don't run for the board. And historically, 2/3 of our shareholders do not vote. What ideas do you have on how to encourage shareholders to be more engaged in our community? Ms. Coleman?
So that's exactly where I was going with the end of my last statement, was that in this process, I have spoken to so many people who are completely disengaged. And that's why it's so important that they have a strong board that cares above all about the shareholders, so that we, can make good policy decisions. But, I think part of this is how we communicate to people. Most people don't even read traditional newspapers anymore. Most people access their news online and through social media. And in my opinion, we need to do a better job of using additional outlets to reach younger people, especially. We're a NORC, but we also have a lot of young people in our community. And I feel like we need to work on engaging them through what's standard today, which is social media. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman.
Yeah. Next is Sheila Richburg.
Yes, hello. I agree with Monique. I think that in this community, unfortunately, some people are apathetic and there is a certain amount of disengagement. And I think communication is the key. Like with the maintenance department, I feel that there should always be more than one way of communication. I think verbal communication, digital communication, having systems where people can actually tune in and hear these type of forums is very important. I think that here in Co-op City, there's so many people that there has to be that constant state of communication. I saw that we have we have the Times, and we do have now a digital newsletter, which is great because sometimes I tune into the digital newsletter when I'm not tuning into the Co-op City Times. I just think communication is extremely important, and that we just have to work a little bit harder to reach more of our shareholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Richburg. Next, Leah Richardson, please.
Hi, thank you. Well, I think we need, in order to engage people, again, at this time is, like she said, communication, social media, and try to encourage them there and meet them where they're at, because everybody's thoughts about this community is different. So the only thing I can think of that we can do is just keep drilling it into people that, we are here for them. We are here for the community, for them, as board directors and as community leaders. We need to keep communicating with them. That's all I can think of to do is just communicate. And that's my comment. I'm sure everybody else is going to probably say the same thing.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Richardson. Next, Akeisha Neely.
Hi, I'm 44 years old, right? So most of my demographic does not read the Co-op City Times. Most of my demographic follows the newsletter, or they may go on social media. So you have to make sure you have a various amount of ways to communicate with people. For example, we had a survey that was sent out. If it's in your carrying charges, so many people go through pay lease. So some people don't even open their carrying charges. So if you put something in the paper or you put something in your carrying charges, you lose a large demographic. So I think that we need to really revisit how we communicate, especially with people of my age that don't read the Co-op City Times. You go to my building, there's a stack of Co-op City Times there from Friday to Friday, and they put a brand new one the following Friday. So I think we honestly need to revisit and go heavily support social media. We have a website that I think that we should also tap into and make sure that cooperatives know that they can reach out to that website and get more information than they currently do right now. So I honestly think communication on all fronts and through various lines of communication, social media, website, paper, the newsletter. I think, like everyone said, communicate until we get the message out.
Thank you very much, Ms. Neely. And next, Isabel Fletcher, please.
Hi. It is important first to keep people informed with the utmost transparency. We need to take the board out of the closed rooms and into the buildings and greenways to reach people on more intimate levels. Also, to invest a digital infrastructure, to hold virtual forums to reach those who cannot come out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Fletcher. Next, Regina Hamilton.
Yes, hi. As I said earlier, I actually went to all 35 buildings, engaging people during this election season, and I've gotten a lot of mixed reviews about the way the election actually was carried out. As it was stated, a lot of people didn't even know there was election going on. So I feel, as far as the election, I think that we should relax the rules in a way to allow people to actually campaign on the grounds of Co-op City so that we can be more visible. As far as the newspaper is concerned, I noticed that a lot of people had expressed to me that it was a lot of personal opinions in the paper, and that was a big turnoff for them, and that's why they no longer read it. But I have some really great ideas that I feel can engage people as far as wanting them to read the newspaper to find out what's going on in the community. And I think just engagement. I spoke to about 1,000 residents so far. I gave out about 2,000 of my cards. So I know the people want to know what's going on. You just have to reach them where they are. And I'm willing to do that. So I hope you vote for me, Regina Hamilton. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hamilton. Next, Mr. Kevin Lambright, please.
Yes, as far as really communicating, everything is about systems and resources. One of the things that that we can do is, besides the newspaper, which we already do, one of the things that we can do, I looked at our green spaces, and where we have light posts, most of you are familiar with when you go into the city or even some parts of the Bronx where they have these kiosks that you can touch it, you can communicate with it, there are videos on it. Other companies would love to have our population. What we can do is we can set those up. That could be our light during the day, our light during the night, during the evenings, and it wouldn't cost us anything. As a matter of fact, it would bring money into Co-op City because we own the power, and they would pay us to put those kiosks here, and our information could be transferred through every single one of those posts. Instead of light posts, we put those there. There's just so much we can do, and that's as far as resources is concerned. Now, when it comes to communicating, right now we have our MATV system that is not working properly and hasn't for 20 years. It's not good. Let me just say that. A lot of our seniors are not used to going on YouTube or Facebook to get information. So they would love to have this, but we have to update this. Let's fix what's broken. It's an easy fix. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lambright. And next, Mr. Darrell Johnson, please.
Sure. I talk to people all the time. Some people told me they did not used to read the newspapers. But once they get to know me, guess what they started to do? They started to read the newspapers. They started to become more interested in what was going on in the community. So we as a board, we have to expand and have people stop saying, well, this is just a board. We have 15 people on this board here. All right. So the board, we have to reach out to the buildings. Individual apartments. We can have a Zoom meeting with the building, okay? But it's us reaching out to the community, letting them know, hey, we're here as individual people. We're a board, but we want you to get to know all of us, okay? So also our newspapers. We can expand the coverage of our newspapers to see what's going on in the buildings, publish that information. Publish information about the families, children, and so forth. Will people start to read the newspapers at that point? Absolutely. Okay, but it's called engagement, all right? The board has to engage more with the community. This way people get to know the entire board. Once they do that, they will vote. They will read the newspapers, and they will become actively involved in this community. So I encourage that to the board to really think about this. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Johnson. And next, we'd like to hear from candidate Anika Green Watson, please.
Yeah, so I echo the sentiments of many when I say that an engaged community is just really paramount to ensuring that people stay connected to the process, in particular, this election process. Similar to what's already been said, in the digital age, we're sending notices through the CC Times and in shareholders maintenance statements, which Akeisha mentioned, some people don't even open now that we have the ability to electronically pay our carrying charges. So the current forms of communication that we're using will reach a certain segment of the population, but it's not going to reach everyone. And it's just really unfortunate that we haven't come up with a better mechanism to reach more people. I feel that it's really time to think about an interface that can serve as an additional platform. And I'm not necessarily encouraging that, we take on additional costs. This can mean a proprietary communication system or leveraging something that exists already, which includes the website. But the longer that we put this off, the more people we're going to continue to lose. As far as the potential voter apathy, again, when you're connected to the process, you vote. So maintaining that connection is paramount. But I think as board directors, there's a certain type of cooperative behavior that we have to model or, continue to model in some cases for people who are incumbents. And if we're serious about engagement, then shareholders will need more visibility into that process to stay connected to it.
Thank you, Ms. Green Watson. Next, we'd like to hear from candidate Amina Lucio, please.
Yes. So I believe that with regard to voting, that the apathy is real, and it is, we are a microcosm of the larger society, and that a lot of folks do not trust the process or not vested in the process. And maybe they have competing priorities where they're working 50 plus hours a week, and they may have childcare issues, and they're distracted by just life in general. So that apathy and the lack of voter participation is something that we need to work on. Really, creating extended arms to the community. So everyone spoke about multimedia, the newspaper, the digital communication, the robocalls is something that we may want to employ as well when there's events going on around Co-op City. But creating extending arms to the community, I like to see the return of the advisory council. The advisory council used to exist some 30 something years ago, where it would consist of a representative. Actually, there were 4 representatives from each building and 1 delegate from each townhouse cluster. And there's 7 townhouse clusters. And this ensured increased representation. It ensured participation to provide recommendations, solutions for the many things that are of concern to us. So I would like to explore the advisory committee did you say? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Lucio. And next, Ms. Leslie Peterson, please.
Yes, hi. I try to stay as engaged with shareholders as possible. That's why when you hear me say that I go often to committee meetings, one of the reasons why I do that is so that I can get a variety of answers to different situations that shareholders face on a day-to-day basis. We are a microcosm of the larger the country at large. And what I find is that people, when they don't feel like their needs are being met, they do disengage. And so I think part of what we have to do, communication, newspapers, all of that is good. But I think you actually get more people who want to participate when they feel that when they say something, they're being heard. And not only are they being heard, but they see movement on what they are asking for, especially if it's something that is within our means to do. Just as an example, I remember going to a meeting and someone lived in a townhouse. They have 1 call box. They said, it's so far away if something happens. Can we get another call box? Okay. Sure, we can look into that. That was the answer. And that was the end of it. Now, does this person still feel like their needs are being addressed or their question is being answered? To engage more people, I think we need to show them that we are actively interested in what concerns them and give them honest answers. Some things we can do, some things we cannot. Okay, and we need to be honest about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And at this point, I'd like to turn the meeting back over to our chair, Ms. Francine.
Okay, thank you. That was a very good exchange of questions and answers. Okay, now it's time to wrap up. And
Francine, you need to unmute yourself, I think. Sorry.
thank you very much. That was a good exchange of questions and answers. Now we'll have the closing statements, and each person will get 90 seconds, is it? I believe.
Yes.
Yes, okay, 90 seconds for that. And we'll begin with Monique Coleman.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So thank you to the shareholders for your attention. Thank you to the board for organizing this forum. Thank you to my fellow candidates for this engaging discussion. It feels to me that we are more alike than we are different. We're all extremely passionate about our community and this process. And, I think that we would all be in good hands, but I really want the shareholders to consider team progress. Our overall mission is to maintain affordable housing, work hard on behalf of shareholders, review alternative options to our high-cost cable contract. We strongly oppose the Department of Transportation plan to build a northbound ramp off the Hutchinson River Parkway into the Killer Curve section of Section 5, which would isolate it from the rest of Co-op City. I support the building of a waterfront park. I think it will improve the quality of life in Co-op City. I think it'll also beautify our community, set us apart from other affordable housing developments that are not as beautiful as our community. Team Progress is unified in our mission to keep Co-op City the best deal in town while preserving our quality of life. Please vote for me, Monique Coleman, Sheila Richburg, Amina Lucio, Isabel Fletcher, and please re-elect Kevin Lambright. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique Coleman. Next we have Sheila Richburg.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful forum. Again, thank you to the election committee, all of our shareholders for tuning in, everyone on this forum, especially my team, Team Progress. Thank you for your diligence and your hard work.
I humbly ask you, my fellow shareholders, for your vote, and I do not take this lightly. I'm eager to listen to your real concerns, and if elected, would love to represent my family as well as yours in a professional manner and with integrity. My lifelong history of advocacy and my commitment and my involvement in Co-op City from just weeks after moving here speaks volumes about who I am and my commitment to simply just serve this wonderful community in which we live. Please vote for me and Team Progress. Re-elect Kevin Lambright, Monique Coleman, Isabel, and Amina Lucia as we continue the advances and stay on course. We pledge to optimize quality of life services, digitize all Riverbay operations, and continue to be the best deal in town. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Sheila Richburg. Next we have Leah Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you. We thank you, shareholders, for your patience and your hard work of the election committee. When electing board directors, shareholders delegate them with major responsibilities. Stronger together are independent thinkers who have come together for a common cause. Our fiduciary responsibilities are duty of loyalty, duty of care, and duty to act within the scope of authority. We recognize the different needs of our shareholders and will work extremely hard to ensure those needs are met. Together, we will minimize bureaucracy, ensure communications, and sharing information about how decisions are made. These assets go a long way toward building community harmony. There is no substitution for communication between cooperation and the residents shareholders expect from their financial contribution to make sure that their community is safe, clean, and that the bills are paid, with the expectation that board members and management will provide these services with transparency and efficiency without overspending or unnecessarily wasting the corporation's funds. I believe that the platform for Stronger Together signifies the strength of our community needs. I am proud to support and hopefully work with a group of dynamic professional women. Anika Green Watson's legal mind will offer the board critical thinking and a greater understanding of complex issues that affect our community. Leslie Peterson's wealth of knowledge as a property manager for over 30 years, I am confident she is more than qualified to assume the position of board director. Akeisha Neely will not take no for an answer. She has a keen, inspiring, analytical mind that will bring programs and youth activities to our family-oriented community. She is always ready and available to take on any responsibility. We could do all things if we do it together, for we are stronger together. Please vote to re-elect me, Leah Richardson, Leslie Peterson, and elect Anika Green Watson and Akeisha Neely. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Leah Richardson. Next, we have Akeisha Neely.
Hi. Thank you again to the election committee for putting together this forum. I'd like to take this time to talk to my fellow cooperators. I want to first thank you for taking the time to view this second candidates forum. Please understand that our statements are not meant to cause fear, but a common thread of issues that shareholders bring to our attention. The next step is the most important part of this progress, returning that ballot you received in that bright yellow envelope this week. Voting is a privilege that many take for granted in this community. I would also like to take the time to speak to the cooperatives who have lost faith in the voting process. Your voice is your vote. Change cannot begin without you. We ask that you also encourage your neighbors to vote, because together we need to work to build this community and keep it safe, affordable, and a wonderful place to live for years to come. When logging on or filling out your ballot, please remember to vote for Akeisha Neely, Anika Green Watson, Leah Richardson, and Leslie Peterson, because all for one for all, we are stronger together. For more information on our team, visit www.aall4board.com. Thank you. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and God bless.
Thank you, Akeisha Neely. Next, we have Isabel Fletcher.
Hello. Again, I'll say my name is Isabel Fletcher. I appreciate the excellent questions asked this evening that show how much cooperators care about our community and how much they want members on the board who will represent their interests. As I shared previously, I am deeply rooted and invested in our community and our issues. We will work hard on flourishing, keeping it safe, affordable, clean, and family orientated. Believe I will represent you since your voice is key. A vote for me is a vote for you, since I will ensure your voice and opinions remain at the center of any action we take as a community. Vote Team Progress, Kevin Lambert, Monique Coleman, Sheila Richburg, Amina Lucio, and me, Isabel Fletcher. Que tenga buena noche. Gracias.
Thank you, Isabel Fletcher. Next up is Regina Hamilton.
Thank you. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. As I stated, as of last Thursday, my tricked out shopping cart and I have been to every building in Co-op City and around the neighborhood talking to residents about our beautiful community and ways to keep it thriving. I'm quoting the Serenity Prayer because many things can be addressed, but I cannot promise to grant your every wish. Instead, I want to offer that we can make changes through effective communication. Many a breakdown occurs when there's a lack thereof. I have seen great ideas come to a screeching halt because no one took the time to communicate. We must find ways to engage each other effectively so we can all be part of the solution and not the problem. Conversations must not be one-sided and definitely not filled with malice, contempt, or greed. Remaining open-minded is key. I love to talk, engage, and problem solve. I believe this is a key element of a board member and one that will represent you as the shareholder very well. So vote for me, Regina Hamilton. This will not be the end, but the beginning of new dialogue, new ideas, new energy, and enthusiasm. Vote for me with the envelope. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina Hamilton. Okay, next up is Kevin Lambright.
Yes, thank you. 90 seconds. We went over quite a few things this evening. One of which, well, let me run them down to you. The Cablevision. You need to know that Cablevision was acquired back in 2016 by a French company called Altice for $17.7 billion, not million, billion. So now you can understand, hopefully you understand why they are trying to recoup that money. And they shouldn't be trying to recoup it off our backs. Not just people of Co-op City, they're doing that all over the country because they bought a bunch of small companies like Cablevision. Also, we spoke about CCPD, and now that you know that, yes, we are increasing personnel, and you will start to see more visibility within the next couple of weeks. there also are investigations going on that you don't know about and you shouldn't know about unless it's a danger to you personally. So also, the park is not budgeted for $10 million. Now, every board member who was awake at the board meeting already knew that. They know this already. If anyone pretends that they don't know that, you may want to ask why they're trying to make you believe otherwise. So also, I have been doing, I have been active in the community from the day I walked in here. So I want you to vote for Team Progress. And you know who that is. That's me, Kevin Lambright, Sheila Richberg, Amina Lucio, Isabel Fletcher, and Monique Coleman. And don't forget, Kevin Lambright.
Thank you, Kevin Lambright. Next up is Daryl Johnson. Unmute yourself.
Today is May 1st, 2021. So I want every cooperator in this community to pick up today's newspaper. Turn to page 6. Page 6. Notice what it says that the board will be considering. The board now approves a $50,000 increase in the managing agent contract fee for a new annual price not to exceed $600,000. So they're going to get a $50,000 raise. Okay. We have been receiving annual increases. How much is that water park going to cost? That water park will cost upwards of maybe even more than $10 million. $10 million is just an estimate. All right. There's a ton of permits that will be needed. Okay. So that water park will be very expensive. What about pulling that $100 million out of a loan, getting a loan and pulling out $100 million to finance our capital projects? What about all those capital increases that we received to pay for these capital projects? So you see, you need good board members that will keep an eye on this community. All right. If we, the cooperators, are receiving annual increases every single year, how is it that we can pay our manager, issue a $50,000 increase to our management company? It's not right, in my opinion. Okay. So what I want you to do is to look at page 6 in today's newspaper, May 21st, and read the resolution that the board will be considering very, very soon at our next board meeting, a $50,000 increase to our managing agent. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl Johnson. Next, we have Anika Green-Watson.
So thank you, fellow shareholders, for attending and engaging through this election process. And thank you to those who submitted thoughtful questions. Thank you to the election committee for running the forum. We appreciate it. As I mentioned in the first forum, and will continue to reiterate, the principles of cooperative living revolve around democratic control. I encourage you all to stay engaged with the process as you make your choices for board candidates, but also beyond. I also encourage you to listen to the words we've said, particularly where the meaning was clear. For example, where I said improve CCPD visibility. If you hear it interpreted as increase the budget or we live in an unsafe community, go back and listen to what was plainly said and then seek to understand how community improvements benefit us all. As I outlined in my opening statement and as evident from the responses tonight, the Stronger Together team brings a wealth of knowledge, insight, and experience to the table. And if you elect us, we will activate all of those resources to make sure Co-op City continues to be a great place to call home. We will channel community-focused thinking to achieve benefits for the collective. I encourage you all to vote to elect me, Anika Green-Watson, and Akeisha Neely, and vote to re-elect Leah Richardson and Leslie Peterson. All for one and one for all. We are stronger together. For more information, please visit our website at aall4board.com and follow us on social media using the handle All4Board. Have a good night.
Thank you, Anika Green-Watson. Next, we have Amina Lucio.
Yes. Thank you, friends and neighbors, for tuning in this evening, and thank you, the election committee, for having the stamina to keep up with us. As I mentioned, my name is Amina Lucio, and I'm a daughter of Co-op City, growing up in Building 25, Section 4, attending IS 180, as well as Truman High School. And I believe in education, I believe in empowerment, and I believe in strong advocacy. We've made great strides together. However, there's still room to grow. I'd like to finalize the procurement of the youth center at the Bingo Hall. As many longtime residents remember the movie theater at Bartow Avenue, I'd like to see our youth employed by local stores and vendors in our community. I'd like to see the return of the advisory council, which would consist of representatives from each building as well as townhouses. I'd like to work on decreasing the turnaround time of vacant apartments to sellable apartments. I want to get rid of this cable service that we seem to be locked into until 2024. And although we have a low crime rate in the Bronx, except for smaller communities such as Throgs Neck and Riverdale, I like to explore community policing and have the full complement of police officers for which we are budgeted for. I like to see individual directors serving as chairs and on each committee. And I'd like to explore the power grid to ensure that a blackout does not occur as we experienced a few months ago. I'd like to have our service department digitized and have all board meetings publicly broadcasted. Please remember to vote for Team Progress, Amina Lucio, Monique Coleman, Isabel Fletcher, Kevin Lambright, and Sheila Richburg. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Amina Lucio.
You're welcome.
Lastly, we'll have Leslie Peterson. Could everyone mute, please? Leslie Peterson?
Okay, I was just waiting for you to tell me when to go. I didn't know. Okay. All right. In summary, disruption of service, while sometimes a necessary evil, should not include frequent delays in restoration service, responsiveness to cooperators, or a lack of professionalism. As a director, we have accomplished obtaining zero equity for seniors downsizing. We are renovating the elevators, installing ADA compliant doors, changed garage access, received millions in energy savings, and are currently operating with a surplus. As co-founder of the Rivers Run Community Garden, I'm proud of the educational and nutritional benefits we have provided to fourth graders from PS 153 and have won several neighborhood awards for Co-op City. During community interactions, you meet some of the most talented cooperators. I am running with a group of women I knew prior to this collective endeavor. Our team consists of cooperators that have been active all along. Each comes with talents that will be an asset to the Riverbay Board. We are here to make your quality of life better, your homes affordable, and your security a prime interest. Your input in accomplishing this is invaluable. We are truly interested in keeping Co-op City affordable. Our money is paying for infrastructure repairs. We do not want to be priced out of our homes. We will have challenges as we age, but together we can overcome. We want everyone to feel a part and take part in the well-being of our home, Co-op City. Vote to elect Leslie Peterson and Leah Richardson, and elect Akeisha Neely and Anika Green Watson. We are stronger together. Have a great night. Have a good evening. Thank you, Election Committee, even with all the technical difficulties. I hope everybody has a chance to watch at some time, whether on your 591 channel or on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you all the candidates. That was a good exchange of information. And thank you, shareholders, for tuning in. And the next and last candidates forum will take place on Wednesday.
Everybody mute.
On Wednesday, May 5th at 7:30 p.m. And please vote.
As soon as she
Your
moves.
envelope, you should have received your envelope. As of Monday, you can vote online, but right now, if you do it by mail, you can do it today or tomorrow. Okay, so thank you very much. Jeff Buss, do you have any last comments?
No, I don't. It's just want to say what a pleasure it is to be here with everyone and have a great weekend.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Stronger together, both stronger together.
Good night.
Stronger together.
Team Progress.
Team Progress.
Together.
All include everyone.
Good night.
Yes, yes.
Progress.
Co-op